Hey guys, and welcome back to another probably pretty average intro to Edo's catch-up, because I'm doing it. My name is Josh.
And I'm Will.
And today we are starting with our Desert Island albums.
Yes.
So we've been doing a series. We've gone through comic books. We've gone through games. I think that's it so far.
That's all so far.
Cool. So yeah, this is in theory, if you crashed a thing onto a desert island and all you had was a bunch of albums, what would you want them to be? That's pretty much it. Or if you were theoretically stranded inside for a number of months, who would ever imagine that could ever happen?
No, never.
Yeah. What would be the only things you'd want to listen to for a while? Now, Will, this was a little bit more difficult for you, wasn't it?
It was. I listen to like scores and soundtracks, and that would be an easy way out. There are some on here, but I really like push myself because I'm not a big song listening person, because as I've always said, the same respect for podcasts, keep listening to this one though, I don't like them because I'm always listening to voices. So I think that also flows into my music choices, which is like, I don't want to hear someone yelling at me. I want to hear them talking to me. I just want to hear some nice soothing John Williams. So that was a bit of a challenge to find things that weren't just John Williams, but I think I did it. I think I got there.
Fair enough. And after 18 years or so of listening to the Beatles basically exclusively,
I can't.
They haven't made it onto the list.
Well, in some respect, but the Beatles themselves, no. Because as I said to you, I had like 5 years of just non-stop listening to them, like in high school.
Yep.
And then since then it's been like, I'll listen to Imagine maybe once a year whenever Gal Gadot feels like singing it. But apart from that, I'm out.
Oh, and that version though.
Oh, there's a good version out there.
There certainly is. Oh man, the piano dude that did it, Chris Cornell.
I always think yes, but then Chris Cornell's also the man that died that sung the James Bond song, but I do think it's the same name.
Yes.
I think it's Chris Cornell.
Yeah, because I always have to write like Chris Cornell and then practice room.
Yeah,
I think
right.
because of everyone just has to go look up Chris Cornell practice room.
Please.
To see the best video on YouTube. It is top tier. So good. Anyway, let's get started on our lists. Will, do you want to start us off?
I can do that.
Let's do that.
So the top of my crop, or whatever you said before, you said top of something. I've already forgotten. It's fine. Is Ballpark Music's Happiness and Surrounding Suburbs, which
yes.
It's like the first thing that wasn't made in the 80s that you brought to me. Really?
Yeah.
I think is probably is why it's on here as well, and also. Every single track on this is one of the best tracks ever made.
Yes.
Like, all their albums are great. They are, but they slowly have been progressively getting a bit weirder, which is fun to listen to. But as songs and as enjoyable songs, I feel like they've steered out of that direction. But this album, every single song is so much fun. There's not as many depressing and moody songs as the other albums, and I like my fair share. Josh likes too much.
Oh yes.
But I'm on my desert island. I want to be happy the whole time, and this album will get me there with like Nice to Be Alive, and just the entire last song, The Happy Healthy Citizen of the Developing World.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Like, I don't have
Yes.
the Beatles on here, but this is close enough.
Yeah, they are so heavily inspired by the Beatles.
Yeah.
Especially with the fact that they're getting weirder and weirder over time.
This is true, yeah.
But their latest track seems like a normal track.
It does. I really like it.
Yeah, so maybe the upcoming... It's in one of our videos, isn't it?
Let Us Float.
Yeah, there you go. Sweet. That's a great album. And I now miss playing All I Wanted Was You.
Yes.
With my old band. That was so much fun to play.
That's right. Literally every good song. I mean, the museum, like that whole album's great too as well, but it's just, this one's just...
Yeah, first two albums are great.
Yeah.
First three albums are great.
But it's very good as well.
Yes. All right. My start.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Paramore's self-titled album.
Nice.
Oh, what a freaking masterpiece. I think I listened to this for maybe like 6 months straight. It was the only album in my car. You probably have heard all of it without even realizing.
I definitely have.
Purely from me driving you around.
Yep.
This just... It's such a well put together album. There's just some great tracks. There's a bunch of like really short ukulele songs that kind of like I don't know, they kind of don't fit, but they do, and I don't understand why, but they're just so good. And of course, this has like incredible songs like "Still Into You," like "Ankle Biters" and "Ain't It Fun," like some of the biggest songs that had music videos and stuff for that. And again, "Still Into You," another song I used to do with my old band, which now I'm getting real sad. Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah, this album just has some incredible stuff, and for some reason Future, I've put that on repeat. I don't know why. It's the last track, and it just sort of trails off into like noise, but for some reason the actual like lyrics, it's like real, like the singing part of it, it's real lo-fi, and it just sounds like they put a tape recorder down and one dude played guitar and she just sang, like it's got sort of a crackle to it, and it's just so good. There's just a lot of passion in it, and there's this like swelling synth that sort of comes in and like takes over. It's great. It's so good. Go check it out if you haven't already. And if you're into like solid kind of fun emo punk.
Yeah. It's what a weird combination of words, but it's true.
Absolutely. Number 4.
Number 4, for me, it's my one utterance of a Beatle. It's called Chaos. I'm going to say the title of the name now. Is that okay? Is that all right for
Title
everyone?
of the name?
Everyone's ready for that, for the title of the name?
I'm so keen for the title of the name.
Here it comes. It's called Chaos and Creations in the Backyard. It's a Paul McCartney one, and I'm pretty sure he plays every single instrument on it, and it's like he just had a studio and wrote songs and had all the instruments he needed and just made an album. And so it's really fun because it's like, I don't technically need any other Paul McCartney album because this is everything he's done, because past like 1980 something, he never made a new song. He just made the same song again, but just different lyrics. So that's kind of what this album is, but it's all fun Paul McCartney stuff, and it's the different ranges of Paul McCartney for the different eras. It's all on here. There's like Fine Line, Too Much Rain, Friends Ago, which are all songs no one's heard of, but I love them. And it's just one that I feel like I could enjoy more so than like a lot of his Wings stuff, because his Wings stuff's are great, but they're almost too catchy. So this one's a nice one that I can put on and just enjoy.
Cool. Yeah, fair enough. What era was this?
It was 2005.
Nice.
His voice hadn't completely gone old man yet, so it's a nice middle ground.
Number 4 for me.
Yes.
Look, Jack White couldn't have stayed off my list. So we have the Raconteurs' "Consolers of the Lonely" album, probably another one you've heard the entirety of whilst driving around in my car. The first few tracks, "Consolers of the Lonely," "Salute Your Solution," so good. So good. And "Carolina Drama," which is like this crazy, like Southern American, I don't know, like weird drama thing where like turns out the milkman knows this story about the mother sleeping with the priest who's actually this kid's dad, but then the dad finds out and then like ends up beating up the priest and killing him, and then the kid kills the dad. It's freaking mental. It's so weird.
And what did you say the name of the milkman was?
Crust Toast.
Oh, that totally normal name then.
Yeah, so this is just like rock. This is just such cool freaking like folk rock. Yeah, so Jack White is the kind of the front man of this band, but there's a couple of guys that sing in it. They came to Australia last year with a month's notice, and you better believe I freaking went and danced my freaking butt off. It was so good.
Have you got it back?
It did. I got it back.
Okay, good.
Even though it was entirely seated, because it was in a theater for like stage productions.
Yeah, right.
And as Jack White was running out, you could hear him. He hadn't reached the microphone yet, and he was like, "Get up! Get the F up!
Amazing.
Stop sitting down!" So everyone's just standing up, kind of awkwardly trying to dance in between seats.
Yep, good.
It was great. It was real weird, but it was a lot of fun. And oh man, Natalie Imbruglia's sister Laura
what a weird
supported for some reason too.
Didn't even know she had one.
No, it was she was not great.
Yeah, right.
Raconteurs though, go check them out. Number 3, go for it, Will.
Number 3, this is the one that's like, it was the easy number 3, middle range. It's the soundtrack to Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Before I put it on here, I did like look through like the top lists, and I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm not like overlooking one of the other soundtracks. Every single list has it as the number one Star Wars soundtrack. So I'm like, look, I could pick Attack of the Clones, but I'm just going to go with the truth. It's the best movie. It has the best soundtrack. It introduces Yoda's theme, Han and the Princess's theme. The end credits is one of the best end credits because it's got the Star Wars, the Han, Princess, Yoda's theme, and also the film introduces the Imperial March, so there's a full suite of that as well. It's just wall-to-wall Star Wars. It's the best one in every respect. So that's why it's here.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like the epitome of a Star Wars album.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best tracks. It's on here. It's here for a reason. And if you've not seen Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, go watch that. It's a good little indie flick made by this little small director who was like Lucas, I think. So yeah, go watch it if you want.
Nice. Cool. That sounds awesome. My number 3 is Grace by Jeff Buckley. Probably on a lot of people's top albums of all time. Which is quite surprising because a lot of the tracks, maybe half the tracks, are actually covers.
Oh, wow.
But he's made them so much his own that people sometimes think that they're his songs.
Yep.
Like Hallelujah.
Yeah, true.
That's like, everyone just thinks, when you think Hallelujah, most people will go, that's Jeff Buckley's song.
Not that horrible dying man.
Oh, I hate that version. I hate it so much. But yeah, this album, it really grew on me. I remember one of my main guitar teachers introduced me to Jeff Buckley through a live album, and it was very weird. I wasn't a huge fan. It's called Jeff Buckley Live in Chicago. He did some weird vocal things because he was a very strange man and vocalist. And I didn't get it back then.
Yep.
But then a little bit later, I decided to kind of jump in when I realized how prolific this guy was. And, oh man, this album just hit me like a ton of bricks. It was so good. Like Lover You Should Have Come Over is just this beautiful waltz. Mojo Pin and Eternal Life are just like intense songs. So Real was actually the first song that I learnt of his, but I taught to one of my guitar students whose mother told your mother to get me as a guitar teacher, and then I met you.
Yeah.
So this could have some sort of weird meaning in our relationship. Well, who freaking knows? But yeah, this album is it's a masterpiece. It's really, really good. It's his only completed album.
Right.
The only one that he ever actually finished, because he was halfway writing an album called Sketches for something. Can't remember the full name of it. It's got like a weird, super long name. It was probably the working title at the time.
Yep.
So he had like recorded a bunch of stuff, like demos, and then once he died, someone, I don't know, probably the publishing company like Sony or whoever it was, got other musicians in to finish the album.
Right, cool.
And so people don't, like, it's kind of cool. I've never listened to it because some people are like, this isn't what he would have wanted. Like, this isn't the album that he was probably going to go for.
Yep.
And the sound and stuff, like it wasn't finished, so therefore, like, is this really a Jeff Buckley album? So Grace is like, yeah, this is his album.
The album. Yeah, right.
The one to go to. So if you've ever been wanting to check out some Jeff Buckley, jump on Grace. It's a little bit weird, but just stunning. Musically incredible. The way he makes even songs that aren't his completely his own.
Maybe I'll listen to it too.
Yeah, give it a go.
Before I jump into my number 2, could you go, if you're not already, could you log into Netflix?
Me?
Yeah.
Can I go to Netflix?
Yeah, just go into, can you log in now?
I can.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm on.
Jade has asked for an update on Rhonda and Peter. Are they still with us?
Oh, right. No, we got it fixed.
Okay.
Wow, did that happen like recently?
That happened the last podcast, so I think like a week and a bit ago.
Yeah, no, I contacted my parents, and Mum was like, yeah, I keep getting emails from someone called Rhonda, and Dad was like, wait, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, we're like, for some reason, the names on our Netflix are Rhonda and Peter. And Dad's like, I thought we were just getting spam from someone and it thought Mum was Rhonda. So Dad was ignoring Mum, saying Netflix is sending me stuff to Rhonda, so they never looked into it.
Yeah, right.
And that's been happening for like months, apparently, because that's how little they use Netflix.
Yeah.
I got them to change their password and everything just in case someone actually was using it. And we've now added in all our new profiles.
Cool.
So I've lost all of my previous viewing history. But that's fine because my current housemate was watching a lot of things that I would not watch. And so that was getting weird on my TV.
Now you got a nice clean slate.
That's right. So it's good. It's all
Very
good.
And something I think is really good is my number 2, which is the La La Land complete music experience. So it's just...
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That's a long one too, isn't it? Because that's everything.
It's everything. So my favorite tracks from the soundtrack is I Ran, sung by... which is a real person, but, you know, sung by what in the film is some dude. Miscellaneous car noises. And, of course, the Nokia ringtone. So there's some great tracks on that La La Land album.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's so ridiculous that that's on there.
Yeah. So
that's too good.
I mean, obviously it's the one musical I love. I mean, it's the main film that I love with all my heart. So it's on there, and it's just there's so much emotion in every track. Even tracks called something I've forgotten. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Shanghai.
Yes.
Even tracks like that. You know, there's so much emotion in everything. It's one of the best scores. It's one of the like. Look, I need an earworm while I'm on this island, and the main Mia and Sebastian theme will be my earworm, and I'll be happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I mean, admittedly, on this island, there might be a real thing called an earworm, which is the actual death of me, but, like, the good earworm that I will force upon myself is that.
Yeah, while this thing is eating at your brain.
Yeah, one ear has lovely music, the other ear has a slug that's eating my subconscious.
That's right. You just like in the fetal position on the sand, like convulsing back and forth. Yeah,
it's fine. That's how I watched La La Land for the first time. So there's no difference.
Fair enough. And that album is every single piece of music.
Yes, there isn't a single track that is missing.
That's crazy. That's so good.
It's very, very cool. I love it. I love it dearly. Again, kind of like the video game playlist video game top. I haven't listened to like any of these apart from Star Wars in a long time. It's weird that they're on here, but I guess if I'm going to an album, I want something that's fairly, you know, not recently listened to. So I guess that's fine.
Yeah. Like I've got, there is an album coming up soon by a band called The Living End. Well, it's my honorable mention.
Yep.
But there was another album that I listened to for maybe like a year or two straight because I put that album on my Xbox and then just played Grand Theft Auto all the time. And one of the radio stations plays music that is on your Xbox. So all the time I'll just get in a car, swap to the Living End music channel, like radio station, and just listen to that. And now I can no longer listen to that album. So totally understand, especially with like I know the amount that you've listened to some of these albums, and especially the Beatles. Just like can't go back.
No.
I'm intrigued now though how I would go listening to that album. Maybe I should do that this week.
Yeah.
Yes. But my number 2.
Yes.
This came in This came in just before we started recording this. This is why that other Living End album is now an honorable mention, because I was talking to a guy at work about this whole like Desert Island Albums thing. He was the guy that said Spider's Man for the comic last week. And the immediate thing that he said, which is something that we have listened to at the same time at work multiple times and looked at each other over our desks, is The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Oh my gosh. Another freaking masterpiece of an album. It's so epic. It's got some freaking fantastic songs. Like, obviously you've got Welcome to the Black Parade.
I know that
song everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's probably the only one Will knows
Yep.
of that. Maybe, do you know Teenagers? Teenagers scared the living out of me.
No. I just know real teenagers, and they do that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't singing a song. That was just me explaining the...
Just you teaching history, yeah.
But yeah, just this album has some fantastic, like, ballads. This is like another one that I thought of when trying to put this thing together was American Idiot by Green Day. It's just like their peak, their absolute pinnacle.
Yep.
This was My Chemical Romance's pinnacle album. It just flows so well together, and it tells like a story through it as well. There's a lot of like experimentation and freaking what's the old lady in what's her name?
I'm so intrigued.
Far out. Yeah. What's the old lady in what's the damn it, I can't remember anything right now.
What's happening?
Arrested Development, the one that loves Buster, because she sings on this album.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Like, it's Lucille. It's the other Lucille.
Yeah.
I know, because I know her. I was excited that she was in the show.
Yeah.
Not that one. Sarah, yeah.
We'll get there.
Liza Minnelli. There we go.
Liza Minnelli.
There we go.
She sings on this. It's so weird. I didn't realize that it was her, but apparently she was like recording an album or something like next door or doing something nearby where these guys were recording this album. And they just got her in to sing this section.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought that it was just Gerard Way singing in a weird voice.
Yeah.
Because he has a weird voice and he does weird things with his voice. So I always thought that this one little bridge section was him. Then I found out it was freaking Liza Minnelli.
We went on such a roller coaster that I forgot what album she was a part of. And so when we snapped back to reality, as the great Eminem once said, I was like, wait, in that album?
That's great. So great. And Gerard Way, he's just great. Like freaking his comic book writing and now the Umbrella Academy being a TV show.
Maybe. I don't know where that show's gone.
Who knows? I hope it comes back. I want another season of that. But yes, My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, brilliant. Another rocker emo album.
Oh, yes.
Number one?
Or do we do... Because you got an honorable mention, I'll give one so that we can...
Sure.
We can make that normal and nice
Sounds
and normal.
good.
So my honorable mention is... It's an album you could listen to. You already know what I'm doing. It's an album you can listen to on Spotify right now from Maurice Jones. It's called We're Fine. There's 5 songs, I think, if I do my maths right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. They're really good. I saw them live probably a few times, and it was great.
Probably the band you've seen most live.
This is almost
Potentially.
Go listen to Maurice Jones. We're Fine. There's 5 songs on it.
There are. They're all written and sung by me.
Yeah,
go enjoy. That
was joke. And when you need a cigarette or a coffee break halfway through the album, pick up Ash's Cricket. It's a great game as well.
That's right, the best. Even better, Big Bash Boom.
Oh yeah,
go get that. That used to be free with Cricket 19 because it was such a good game.
Big Bash Boom, my friend.
Okay. All right, what's your number one? Let's go straight in.
My number one, which it's look, I'm having a difficulty, as you can probably hear throughout this entire podcast, but right now as well, choosing my specific number one. But it is a Bublé album. I think it's To Be Loved, which has It's a Beautiful Day. Surprisingly enough, the song To Be Loved, and it's just, I love it. His cover of You've Got a Friend in Me.
Cute.
But then the other album I'm looking at is Crazy Love, which has Cry Me a River, Haven't Met You Yet, and Hollywood. It's just, I think both of them are really good. I think To Be Loved is the one that I enjoy singing the most. And I think that's also why it's number one, is like, I just sing the shit out of these songs all the time. And so if I need an album on the island that I can sing to, it's the only one.
Fair enough.
So yeah, but it's on here because it's To Be Loved by Bublé. It's just good. All these songs are great, and yeah, I think I've seen him 5 times now. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's just very good. I love big band stuff.
Yeah.
All of these have a big band. Apart from Chaos and Creation, I guess Ballpark Music, they are a small band, but they feel like a big band.
They do. They could definitely, like, they've got trumpets and interesting
true.
things going on as well.
They have got trumpets. You're right, Joshua.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good list.
The boob tops.
Good list. Very well. The boob tops.
That'll be on a t-shirt. Well, no, it'll just be a boob top.
I think it's called a boob tube.
It's
or
true.
a bra.
No, this just has holes for your nips, which we've discussed earlier in the year.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. Your superhero costume has holes for the... No, mine has holes for the nips. That's right.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
So
Mine had one for the belly button.
It did. Well, it's
That's the one.
very intelligent. You can check it out on YouTube or Spotify. But something that's even more intelligent is... have you done your runner-up?
So, as I said, it was a Living End album, and it is the Living End album called The Living End. Very good.
It's like for your list, you looked up your band and went, what's the one that I don't have to type the most? Okay, Paramore, don't have to type anything else.
That's right.
Living End, don't have to type anything else.
That's right.
What's the best song on the Black Parade? F*** it, I don't have to type anything else there either.
Perfect. Yeah, this was basically my introduction to rock music. And The Living End, who ended up being one of my favorite bands of all time to this day.
Jesus. Well, it seems like your days are numbered, so I'm glad it's still going.
They are, yes. To this day, until tomorrow. So, yeah, my sister introduced this to me when I was maybe in year 1. So I was like 6 when I fell in love with punk rock, like Aussie garage music, which is a weird age to be heaps into this sort of music that's like against the man and the government. I'd like dance around on my bed and just be like, you want to tell us what to do whenever around and nothing you can do. Yes, I forgot the lyrics to one of my favorite albums of all time that I've been listening to for 24 years of my life or something. But yes, this album it's just an album that kind of defines a lot of my life, or at least like, yeah, me growing up, it got me into this sort of music, which is probably why I'm where I'm at today. Especially with a lot of the music my sister introduced me to. We have a very, very similar taste, although mine has expanded since then to weirder things that she cannot stand at all, which is fine. But yeah, we still have this huge nostalgia for The Living End and a lot of these sorts of bands. Her and I used to go and see The Living End all the time. It's one of the bands I have seen the most, and especially the band that I've gone to the most with my sister. We actually went to a set of shows. So they had a tour called the Retrospective Tour. So at the time they had 6 albums, and they would play an album a night for 6 nights, and then they would play the first album twice. This is from cover to cover. So for 7 days in each state, they would play 7 shows in a row.
They'd all just sit on the stage and press play and go, everyone, no talking. We're listening.
That's it. But it's such a phenomenal thing to do, because that means they would have had to know back to back, front to back, their entire discography up to that point, which is crazy. And my sister and I had gone to their shows from their 3rd album onwards, because that was sort of around the age that it was probably more appropriate for me to be going to those sorts of live shows. From their 4th album onwards.
Yep.
So we went to the shows for the first 3 albums, and it was amazing. It was the best 5 days. We managed to get a break in between, like a day break in between to recover before we went back to the hi-fi in Fox Studios. Freaking jumped our legs off again and then grew them back.
Yeah, good.
Man, I've spoken about my honorable mention way too much. I forgot it was my honorable mention. Anyway, number 1.
Yeah.
Let's just jump straight into number 1. This is one that Grubby tried to guess, because Grubby this is one of our Patreons, Grubby, had a Reliant K album, and she guessed that mine would be which is the name of the album, MMHMM. An annoying album to have to try and explain to someone. But it is not. It is their latest album, Air for Free.
Ooh.
This has such a diverse set of songs on it. It's just mental. There's a song where like the lyrics actually don't even make sense. Like I don't know what they've done with it. They've sort of put it through like an auto-tune thing, but they've auto-tuned it so much that it's artifacted the audio track of the vocals so that you can't actually understand what he's saying anymore.
Right.
And like the chorus you can still understand, but the verses are sort of like, when you can tell me about it. It's just sort of like, it really strangely puts them together. Go check it out. It's called Empty House.
Yeah.
And I watched a video the other day. It was a live stream, and someone said on the live stream to the guys, the two guys remaining in the band, what are the lyrics of Empty House? And he's like, I don't know. Like, whatever the hell you want. But yeah, there's those sorts of songs. There's one called Bummin'.
Yep.
Which sounds real bad, but it's a jam. It's a freaking jam. One where they're like singing to like a football or baseball team, I think, maybe. Kind of. Like, it's really funny. There's one that's like 3 songs in one, and there's like 3 seconds gap in between, so it'll play through, and then the song will just peter out, and then just start up again, like real quick. Like, it's just all in again, and it's like 3 songs, but it's only 1 track. That one's called Runnin'. Go check that out. I don't even need the track listing for this one anymore.
Yeah, no, you're doing well.
Yeah. They are a Christian band, so there's one called God, which is a beautiful song as well. Knowing Matt Thiessen, the singer's sort of journey, like he was engaged to be married, I believe, and then his marriage broke down because he ended up doing some bad things, and I think cheating on his wife or his fiance or something. So that got kind of dodgy, and then he wrote this album, or a couple of albums, which are real sad and intense. But then it seems like he's sort of recovering now. I think he's like married someone else and stuff like that. So he's gone on quite his own like emotional life journey where he's made mistakes and he knows it, and he's trying to account for it. Yeah, it's so good. There's another song on this album that I just remembered, and I'm pretty sure it's about, well, part of it is, well, no, the whole song is about the death of his mum.
Wow.
And it is like, it freaking just kicks you in the nuts. It's gorgeous. And there's one part of the song where he says, nothing but the sun in her eyes. And I'm like, that could mean multiple things, because I think both his parents died when he was quite young. It's called Flower, by the way, I think, or Marigold, one of the two. They're both flowers. Although he does say in the song Marigold, I think it is Marigold, because he's like, he took it home to his mum, who said, what you're giving me is a garden variety weed. So marigold is actually a weed, not a flower, but he thought it was a flower, and he thought it would be a nice gift for his mum, and she was like, that's a weed. And he was like, oh, and then she died.
Poor Tris.
But yeah, he says, nothing but the sun in her eyes. And that's either because she's buried like somewhere where she gets a lot of sun, or maybe she was a Christian, and so she's in heaven with Jesus, nothing but the sun, so she's just looking at Jesus all the time. So I don't know, I might be reading into it, but that's what songs are for. And to sort of make your own meaning out of it. Not everything has an absolute definite meaning. But yes, those are my albums. We should probably jump into the rest of them, because we've talked a lot. And I'm afraid I'm going to talk about a lot of these albums too, because I've listened to most of them.
Yeah.
Cool. So as usual, we posted this question, Desert Island albums, to our Patreons, and we'll post it to one of his friends as well, one of our friends. So our Patreons gave us some of their responses, and I took it upon myself for some dumb reason to make Spotify playlists for all of these, and I tried to listen to them all over the last week and a half, and I got through most of them. I put aside my podcasts for a week and a half and just listened to all these albums of bands I'd never heard of. Some bands I have, but mostly albums I've never heard of. And it was a trip, man. It was great. And also on the YouTube version of this podcast, we're going to put the links to the Spotify playlists as well. So I'm going to throw that at you guys so you can all check out these playlists. And I'll make one for Will and mine as well, so you can check those out in the description of the YouTube version of this.
Absolutely.
Do you want to start off?
Lama Lucky?
Lama Lucky.
That's an interesting word. Auricula Spectacular by MGMT. Best songs are apparently Electric Field. I'm tired. Best songs are apparently Electric Feel, and this album is filled to the brim with bangers. I was hoping he'd say it was filled to the brim with feel after he said Electric Feel. He didn't say that, which is sad.
He didn't. Yes. But yeah, this is a good album. Yeah, like Electric Feel, probably the most famous song from MGMT. Do you know it?
No.
So it's like the ooh girl, shock me like an electric eel, baby girl.
I hope you do this for every single song, because it's please do.
Yeah, I almost definitely will.
Yeah, good.
You might recognize it.
It's probably been at a Woolworths.
Yeah, probably, almost definitely. Yeah, it's a good jam, good album.
Yeah. Iron by Woodkid, and apparently the best song is Iron, which is, it's a good thing to put up front. A very emotional music in there. Damn, I love it, is what Lockie says.
This was interesting. This was kind of different. I don't know where Woodkid is from, but he had quite an accent, like Swedish or something.
Yeah, right.
Very different. And I think this was only an EP as well, so it was only about 5 or 6 tracks.
You're right. Next up is, wow, these are just very easy. Asia by Asia, and the best song is Only Time Will Tell. Not much to say about this album. It's just great.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, super jazzy and kind of like anthemic as well. There's a song Time Again, which I've noted here that I really, really liked. It had some freaking crazy stuff going on.
Cool.
Yeah, it was good. You did skip over one.
Oh, right.
H2O by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Hall and Oates.
That one.
Yes.
You can keep going. I just want to say that one.
He said, best song is Man Eater. Very funky album. One song reminds me of elevator music as well. Yeah, I really liked Art of Heartbreak. It just had some awesome saxophones and sweet guitar and bass lines, like really, really weird. I had no idea that Hall & Oates had such rocky songs like this.
Yeah, right.
That were in this album. Because the only one that I can think of is like, What I Want, You Got, and It Might Be Hard to Handle. Like just sort of fun, almost joke songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got some real cool stuff in it.
Yeah, cool. I thought the name sounded familiar. It's just usually they're not so separate. Usually just Hall and Oates.
Yeah, definitely.
It just threw me,
That's fair.
Just having sing their first names, it threw me.
You
knew?
What did it do?
What
did it do to you?
It lifted me up and then put me in a different place.
Wow.
Yeah. It put me over there. Apparently the last one is Gloria by Laura Branigan. Don't really like the album it's in. What? But I could jam to this song all day. Right, the specific song is Gloria.
The specific song, yeah. So
amazing.
Their Desert Island album is a single song. And I totally forgot about the fact that they didn't want the entire album on there. So I listened to the whole thing. That really could have cut down about an hour out of my listening time. I've written down Gloria. I know this one.
Amazing.
I didn't recognize her name, but I know this song. This is another kind of older song. He seems to be like into some 70s and 80s sort of stuff here.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, so there's some solid stuff. I'm trying to think of how Gloria goes. You would definitely know it, I reckon.
Okay.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, that song is a very big song.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Next up, I'm going to take this because of the first album that's on this list.
By all means.
But this is from our friend Emmy, also a Patreon. She's great, and her first choice was also great. Absolutely loved listening to this album this week. It's been a long, long time, but Red by Taylor Swift. Favorite song is All Too Well. It's the first album she ever bought with her own money, which is a great choice, may I say. And I've listened to it every day since she was about 8. So she has a lot of nostalgia attached to it. Yeah. totally agree. I have a lot of nostalgia attached to this too, despite listening to it as a like 20-something-year-old man. No, yes, because when I went, when this album came out, that was the year I was turning 22, and I went to the tour with one of my mates, who was another dude. So it was just two dudes surrounded in women in like the SCG or whatever, just belting this at the top of our lungs, and it was, I think, 4 days away from me turning 22.
Lovely.
And she sang 22. So I'm like, basically, I was so damn close. I was like, I think I calculated I was like 96% of the way to 22.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm 22. This song's for me. This is perfect. It was great. One of the best live shows I've been to.
Yeah, right.
Really good. Great choice. A lot of fun dancing around to this week. It was great. I posted a lot about it as well online, I think.
Amazing.
On Twitter and Facebook and on the Discord and everything. Mm-hmm. Next one, Oh My My by One Republic. My favorite song is Better. They're probably my favorite band of all time. This is still Emmy talking, not me. And the music on it speaks to my soul. Yeah. So do you know much One Republic?
I've heard the name.
Yeah. So I listened to this album. It was pretty good. I don't want to like poo-poo anyone's album choices because it's fine. I just said poo-poo.
You did.
I had no other choices for words, apparently. I'm just like, I saw them live. They were amazing. The singer is incredible. Like one of the best vocalists I've ever seen live. But he also knows it and showed it off a lot, like maybe a bit too much, and that I wasn't a huge fan of. Personally, but the album was a lot of fun. I can understand why people are fans of One Republic. So yeah, good choice. You can like what you like. Number 3, Invocations Conversations by JRJR.
Just had a
favorite song is Won't Last Long. This band produces such unique and interesting music. This album has such solid songs on it. This was really fun. I really enjoyed this album as well. Really weird, kind of funky and modern. They were doing some weird stuff. It was very good, upbeat kind of music. Really, really dug it. We've got We Could Be Beautiful by Rabel. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Couldn't pick a favorite song because I like both ritual and poetry equally. Rabel has my whole heart. Still, this is Emmy talking. He's such an incredible songwriter. He makes you feel all of the feels. Yeah, for some reason when I jumped into this is another EP as well, so there's only like maybe 5 or 6 tracks on this. I don't know why, but I was expecting this to be a female vocalist just by the name. I don't know why I was judging that, but it ended up being like a very like fun radio pop kind of band and album.
Yep.
I can definitely like imagine flicking through Nova or something like that and that just like popping up. Ritual sounded really familiar. I feel like I've heard that song. I don't know why. But yeah, that sounded really, really familiar. And finally, Origins by Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, right.
Emmy's favorite song from this is definitely Birds. She said, my whole family is obsessed with Imagine Dragons, so it's always a go-to on road trips. This is apparently their newest album, and it's full of incredible songs. Again, this sort of, for me, lands with One Republic. Like I just haven't quite got on the bandwagon with it. So I listened to it. They are huge. They're like massive. I watched this beautiful video of the band playing live when they used to still playing like pubs and stuff. And there was a fan who, I think he'd been battling cancer or something, and he managed to get to talk to them before the show and requested a certain song. I think I'd recognized it before, but people like picked him up and were kind of crowd surfing him, and then the singer was like leaning out over the stage, and like they were like forehead to forehead like singing this song at each other. It was gorgeous. It was such a cool thing. I don't think that song was on this album because this is their newest album, but that made me kind of like my respect for Imagine Dragons grew on that. But again, I understand why people love Imagine Dragons. They have a huge sound. They're a lot of fun. Very epic.
I really like I think it's called Zero, which I think was at the end of the first Wreck-It Ralph. That song's sick.
Yeah.
That one's really good.
Yeah, nice. So that is Emmys.
That's Emmys.
Next up, we got Grubby's Choice.
I'll go get that.
I didn't send it to you?
You did not, but that's fine. I
did not.
You only sent
apologize.
Lava Lockies. It's fine. They're all here. We have a Discord. We're recording this on a Discord.
We do. I'll send you the rest now.
That's okay. Hi, Grubby. Let's talk about Ocean Eyes by Owl City. The first album they ever got. Easy song pick is Fireflies. Even I know that one.
Ooh, yes.
But they also love Meteor Shower and On the Wing.
Very good. Yeah, this is a big album for me as well. My sister also introduced me to this band and album through Fireflies when it was just starting to become big. And she showed me because we almost thought that the singer of Owl City was the same as the singer from Reliant K.
You're right.
Because they sound very, very similar. And fun fact, where did I write that? Sorry, I wrote a fun fact on this.
You're the worst Stephen Fry ever.
I know. Which, yeah, I could have done this without even writing fun fact because I knew this off the top of my head. But the Reliant K singer actually sings on this album.
Yeah, right.
We thought that it was the same vocalist, but it's not. But they're friends, and they actually produced music together. There was a song on a Reliant K album that was produced by the singer of Owl City as well. And I think he sang on it too. And both times you can barely tell that they're changing singers.
Yeah, right.
It's just that the Reliant K singer has a slightly gruffer, sort of like rocky voice. Whereas Adam Young from Owl City, he's got a much smoother, gruff voice, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting thing there.
Very wild. They're back again, waking up from One Republic. Didn't want to copy, so went with this one instead. Very good. Favorite is Secrets. Did you listen to this one, or were you like, I've got the One Republic?
I think I may have skipped over this one. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You've said your piece.
Yeah, I'd had my taste of One Republic.
Yeah. The next one is an album you introduced to me. I really like this album. I think I'd like partially considered it just so it wasn't all Star Wars albums, because I really like it too. It's Collapsible Lung by Reliant K. The titular song is good. It's very good. The personal pick is Can't Complain. Also very good. And really cute. Having a Bad Day sort of song. Absolutely. I love this album.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's so great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun re-listening to this as well as I was going through. And this is one of the few albums I still have in my car.
Yeah, right.
That I still put on and listen to when I'm driving around. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And it's got the song that's basically a Doctor Who song, but isn't a Doctor Who song, apparently, according to the singer, who a lot of people apparently online asked him whether this was about Doctor Who, and he said no. But he now has watched the episode and was quite shocked by the point. But basically, it's called Don't Blink. So the lyrics of this song are, hold on now, don't you blink or it's gone. In another life, who knows what we'd become.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's wild, because in the Blink episode, people get taken to like they basically have to start another life because they get taken back in time.
Yep.
To another point. So
by blinking.
Yeah.
Which is the bigger thing. Like, if the song was just about being taken to a different time, or like, you know, well, the fact is blinking, and also that. It's very weird.
It's super strange, yeah. But yeah, great album, great songs. Yeah, next up.
Speaking of things starting with S, let's talk about Suns. And there's 1,000 of them. It's 1,000 Suns by Linkin Park. It's hard to pick between this and one more light, but 1,000 Suns has aged really well. Favorite song is Waiting for the End.
Nice. Yeah, Waiting for the End was great. I personally thought that it sounded like a Switchfoot song.
Yeah, right.
And The Messenger, man, Chester's voice is insane in that song. It's crazy. Chester Benningfield, oh crap, can't remember his last name. Like, it would have hurt to sing how he was singing for that song. It was intense. And yeah, Linkin Park, huge band for a lot of people, especially after what happened in 2017 when the singer took his own life. After releasing a song that was Who Cares If Another Star in the Sky Goes Out Tonight, which is very much about depression and suicide and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think that hit a lot of people, especially one of the guys in my band at the time. And so we ended up covering it at my very last gig with that band before I moved to Melbourne, within the 2 weeks that I moved. So, yeah, that I haven't listened to them all that much. I really enjoyed this album, though. It's very different to the sort of stuff that I listen to. But, yeah, I think Chester kind of, without being a huge fan, has a bit of a place in my heart after playing that song live to a lot of people and people crying in the crowd. Like, it was pretty heavy. It was amazing.
My only connection to that is the great video from Rhett and Link, which is Link and Linkin Park in the Lincoln. It's a very good video, if you have.
It's fantastic, yeah. Look up, Good Mythical Morning, Linkin
Park. It's very,
probably.
very funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But number 5 from let's think about words. Let's think about words. Let's see where we're going to start.
You got this.
Number 5 from Grubby is X and Y by Coldplay, one of their favorite albums, and definitely the most underrated Coldplay album. That's a fair point. Switch between Rush of Blood, To the Head, and Viva La Vida, or Death and All His Friends. Favorite is definitely Swallowed in the Sea, and I'm still just, there's so much writing here, and I'm still just so stunned to think that they played it for the first time in concert, that's right, for 10 years at the concert they went to, which is amazing. What a moment that would have been.
No way, you went. That's awesome.
That's very
amazing.
Cool. Yeah. That is a very good album too.
Cool. Yeah, this was the first time, like, I haven't listened to Coldplay much, but Grubby, I think you turned me. Like, I want to listen to them more now.
Good.
She literally just messaged the Discord.
Yeah. Shouted Leaf, I think. I don't know what that was.
It's an Animal Crossing thing, I think. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed listening to this album. And yeah, I think what I mentioned to you is they're so, like, inoffensive that it's hard not to enjoy their music.
Yeah.
If you just have it on, like, it's so nice to listen to all the time. So yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah, good.
This was really nice. Swallowed in the Sea, really gorgeous. So definitely agree with you there.
I always thought with Coldplay, when I was growing up listening to them, I was like, they should score a film. Like, just their music outside of the lyrics is so filmic and cinematic. I'm like, can they just do a movie? That'd be so good.
That sounds about right. And yeah, they're a band I've always wanted, like, even just barely being a fan, they're a band I've wanted to see live.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've heard about their shows, and they sound insane, like, absolutely incredible. But you can barely get tickets because they sell out in an instant. So, I'm like, I guess I'll probably never see them. I don't know.
One day.
Yeah. And Grubby also had an honorable mention of My Head is an Animal of Monsters and Men. I didn't listen to this one. Of Monsters and Men, though, I really like. They're kind of like a acoustic folky band. Again, there's probably one song at least that you would know of theirs.
Yeah, right.
Because it was huge. Yeah, I do like Of Monsters and Men. They're good fun. Good fun. And I love male-female vocal combinations. And they've got that. Cool. Next up, we have Ghost. Now, I didn't listen to any of Ghost's because it was 6.5 hours long, I think. The entire thing. It was ridiculous. So I'm not going to be able to chat as much as I have been, which is probably a relief for most people.
It's all right.
They can just tell me to shut up for once. But we start off with Doom Days by Bastille. That's hard to say.
Doom Days.
Doom Days.
Yeah.
Where, like, when you're reading it for the first time and you're not saying Doomsday,
yeah,
saying Doom Days.
That's fair, yeah.
She said, I think it's one of his newest, and it's got some real good bangers on it.
That's good.
Yeah, I think this is one of their biggest albums. So there's probably some stuff that you and I would recognize as well from this. But yeah, Bastille, another, like, good kind of fun, I don't know, like a pop, not quite folk, but they have quite a unique kind of sound. Multiply by Ed Sheeran. It's still my favorite Ed album. This is Ghost speaking.
Yeah.
And I think one time or another, I loved every song on there. Bloodstream is such a banger.
This is just blown my mind that it's called Multiply. I just always thought it was called X.
Yeah, no, his albums are Plus, Multiply, and Divide, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's just the symbols.
I must have just seen the first one just on a slant and thought it was the same album, despite the different colors.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. But yeah, it's Multiply, not just an X.
Yeah, right.
Strange choice. But yeah, Ed Sheeran, again, another person I'm like, not that I'm not a fan of him. His music is cool. But another person that I really, really want to see live.
Yes, absolutely. Just because it's just him.
Yeah, because he just loops everything, and I love that sort of music. I love I've tried to do that at live shows, and I messed up. It's hard to do.
Yeah,
it's real hard to do. But yeah, looping's great. Ed Sheeran, he's a great vocalist, really, really good songwriter. We have Hamilton by Hamilton. The musical album. Yeah, so she said, arguably the best musical album. It's just 23 bangers all in a row. Seriously, you can't go wrong. Another reason why I haven't listened to this is because I've been putting off listening to the Hamilton album because I want to see the musical first. And it hasn't come to Australia. It was supposed to in the next couple of years, I believe.
Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen now.
I believe that there's a recording of like the main Broadway one coming to Disney Plus later this year as well.
Ooh, cool. Okay.
Which is pretty exciting.
Maybe that's how I'll have to consume it first.
And if you want to consume just a portion of it, you can consume it in, I think, the last or the second John Krasinski Some Good News, because he got the full cast to sing it live on a Skype call.
No way.
Yeah, I think the main song. I don't know it very well either, but it was very cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I could not tell you any songs on there or what's a main song or whether there is.
I just know Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's it. That's my extent.
Sure. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I haven't heard anyone say that Hamilton is bad.
It's very true.
So it's probably incredible.
Yeah.
The How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack by John Powell.
Yes.
So you have a soundtrack person with your Willy.
Yeah. No, sold separately.
Not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So Ghost has said, let's move away from this quickly.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year-old movie, and the exclusive to JB album costs $45. It's too good.
It's such a good soundtrack. I think
it was exclusive to JB.
I guess so. I get maybe just in Australia. That's wild.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess Sanity was already dead 10 years ago. But yeah, this soundtrack is incredible. John Powell should be the replacement for John Williams because he also did the soundtrack for Solo, and that is the best soundtrack. I think it's better than John Williams' last 3 soundtracks for Star Wars because it is so unique. The man is amazing. If you haven't heard, I think it's called First Flight or Test Flight on the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack. It is one of the best pieces of score from the modern era of cinema. It is so good. It is so good.
Yeah. This was one of my favorite movies. I freaking love this movie. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
Good choice.
It's a great movie, probably a great soundtrack. Of course, I've listened to it because I've watched the movie multiple times, but I haven't consumed the soundtrack.
It's very good. Welcome to. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
And finally, an artist that you and I will are aware of from a few videos online because she's just so freaking weird. But just seems so great. Aurora, her album, All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to her music outside of those videos?
I definitely went a screenplay because she's one of Steph's favorite artists as well. So I've definitely heard it through that.
Sure.
Just being on in the studio.
Yeah, so she's Norwegian or something. And yeah.
That's the extent of her abilities.
That's all we got.
She's Norwegian.
Yeah,
not bad.
She certainly is. Yeah, and Ghost has just said just a relaxing good time, and that's what I remember from her music too.
It's very true.
She seems very interesting in the interviews. I think there was a pretty funny Triple J interview.
That seems unlikely.
Was that the first one you sent?
Yeah, probably was.
To me. Yeah. So go check that out because that was hilarious. She just seems so strange. And we're rounding it out at the end here with Jade's
Yeah.
album list. Do you have this one on you?
I do. Well, I do now.
Good.
Because you sent it to me.
I did.
Number one, which is, we put numbers on these things. They're not numbers. It's fine.
Yeah.
The Arc... hang on. Here we come. The Arc Android by Janelle Monáe.
Monet, I think.
Can people... Monáe, yeah. It's as difficult as reading Doomsday for the first time.
Yes.
They describe this as a concept album where the singer's alter ego becomes... Oh my god. What's these words coming out?
I've never read this before.
Let's see. I need to find out what this word means. Hang on.
Messianic.
Yeah.
So like a messiah.
Well, I don't know religion, so I haven't heard that word before. Okay, like the Messiah. To the Android community of Metropolis, personal favorite. This sounds really, really cool. I hope you're about to say it's really cool. Personal favorite track is Cold War. It's so hard to keep listening to it.
Okay. This album blew my freaking mind. This is the one I sent you and was like...
Oh, of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, this is not the album I expected to enjoy so much. This... changed my life this week. Honestly, this was insane. I could not stop sharing it with everyone that I was talking to at the time. There is just so much happening in this album. You've got to listen to it from start to finish. It's crazy. It started off with basically just an orchestral, classical score. That was the first track. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm listening to classical music. And then it did not go there. It went freaking wild. There was rap, there was guitar solos, there was she's almost like a more interesting Beyonce.
Yeah, right. That wouldn't take much.
Yeah. Just the experiments that she did and the sorts of things that she did musically and vocally and lyrically was crazy. One of her songs, I believe, was an ad, used in an ad in Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
And you and I were trying to work out where it was from because we recognized it. So I just recognized the chorus. There was one line from the chorus that I recognized. And I feel like it's just a little snippet from an ad for a tax company or something, trying to make tax look fun and cool. But yeah, this album
sounds incredible.
It just crushed me. It was so good. There is only one other album on this list that I listened to. But I'll let you keep going.
Keep burning through. This one is Red Light Fever by Hot Leg. This one leaves them torn because they love the 80s vibe of the album, but they're still glad the lead singer reunited with his favorite band. Interesting. With their favorite band. Fave track is Chickens. Also a big fan of Chickens, but man, it took a few listens to grow on me. Interesting.
I'm intrigued by what the thing meant about the lead singer reuniting with my favorite band.
Whether that meant they had a band prior and then they made Hot Leg and it was all 80s and then they went back to making what they used to make. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, it could have been something like that.
But interesting that the other band isn't on here.
You left us questioning everything, Jade. What are you doing to us? Come on.
Thank you for that. Next up is a user's guide to They May Be Giants by They May Be Giants.
Yes, one thing quickly about Hot Leg.
Yes.
If you're currently looking through the playlists of this on Spotify that I've linked in the YouTube version, you'll find that Hot Leg is not there because Hot Leg is not on Spotify.
Oh, no.
You can find this on YouTube, though. So you can track down, I think the whole album is on YouTube. But yeah, I couldn't. That's one of the reasons why I skipped this, because I listened to the They Might Be Giants album because I forgot that the Hot Leg album was not on Spotify. So I just listened to the next one after Janelle Monáe's album. But continue on. A user's guide to They May Be Giants.
Well, yeah, but then they might be giants. Fun fact, I once asked a staff member at JB, do you have an album from that band that did the theme song for that TV show? And no joke, they worked it out that I meant TMBG. And that's fun. There's a nice little, what do you call that? A little letter combination. Acronym. Yeah, I don't think that's it. It's something else, and that's how they got the album. That's wild. And their favorite track is They'll Need a Crane. Maybe they will.
Cool.
I guess if they're giants, they probably are in need of cranes to pick up most things.
Yeah, this album is so freaking weird. It's a lot of fun. It's so funny. This is the one I sent you where I was like, this sounds like Rhett and Link.
Yes, right.
And it was one song in particular that sounded like them. But this also has Dr. Worm, which I feel like I've sent you the Reliant K version at some point. They did a cover. Yeah, this band is just, they're a lot of fun. They're like, there's a lot of kind of parody in there as well. I don't know how they got away with this. Maybe because parody, you're allowed to do parody. Like you can do it without getting sued. But they used the melody of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Like, the exact melody. They got a girl coming in and singing it. But they went, in the spaceship, the silver spaceship, the lion's on the phone. I have no idea what it means, but every time they got to the chorus, they sang The Lion Sleeps Tonight melody, but they changed the lyrics for some reason. Very strange. But this album is a lot of fun. It's just easy to listen to and have on. So, yeah, definitely check this one out. This was great.
Next up is Challenges by that's interesting, the new Pornographers. What happened to the old ones? Did they get charged for something? A friend introduced this indie band to them a decade ago, and this year they were lucky enough to see them live. That's exciting.
Cool.
Their favourite track is Adventures in Solitude. That seems difficult. And they nearly started bawling when they heard them playing live. Wow.
That's cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, man, lucky to have seen them live in the first 2 months that you were allowed to.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty cool.
Sick.
Awesome. And final
Number
one.
5.
This sounds like a good choice. I don't know the album.
Yeah, but you know the band?
Freaking band, man.
Yeah, right.
So The Last of Our Kind by The Darkness. Jade's favorite band. Said, I hope you like glam rock because I live for this type of music. Fave track is Mighty Wings. This epic is what will play at my funeral. Interesting,
yeah.
So, Will, do you know The Darkness?
Sometimes I turn the lights off if I don't have my bedside, yes.
Damn it. I believe in a thing called love.
Is that the one where they go, I believe in a thing called love?
That's the one.
That's all I know of that, but sure.
So that's the band that does it. So every song... you can imagine is probably basically like that. Just
right.
Like
I need to actually hear how that. I just know that those words strung together like that. I've never heard it in the song.
Really? Okay, interesting. Fair enough. Yeah, just like 70s glam rock, but from the 2000s. It's super great. Good choice. Good choice, everyone.
Oh no!
What's up?
That's just made me realize what my number one track album actually is.
Oh no!
It actually has changed. I need to.
Is it The Darkness?
It's The Lightness.
The Lightness.
No, it's Life in Cartoon Motion by Mika. That's what my number one album is.
Ah, there it is.
That is the album I would take. Just hearing that voice, I'm like, oh, I've just remembered my boy.
Oh, did you just quickly listen to it?
Yeah, no, that's what my number one is, Life in Cartoon Motion. I constructed an entire Doctor Who series around that album. Each episode would have a pinnacle moment that would use one of the tracks from that album. So I adore that album, and I completely forgot about it.
What would get pushed off your list?
It's a good point. Let me look at my list that I made so long ago. Probably the Paul McCartney one, to be honest.
Okay.
That would disappear.
Fair enough.
So it would be Ballpark, Empire Strikes Back, La La Land, Bublé, and Mika.
There you go.
Would be my list. There we go. That's nice and remindery. I will just quickly jump in with Finchie's list as well.
Yes.
He kicks off with A Night at the Opera with Queen, which sounds like a lovely afternoon, or probably night, I guess.
I think they had another album called
yes,
An Afternoon something.
There absolutely is. So
very good,
very good choice. It is the Queen album, so fair enough. Also, the Beatles album is Abbey Road. He was tossing up between Please Please Me and Abbey Road because they're his two favorite, which are obviously the either end of the spectrum. They're first and they're last, and I'm like, as fun as Please Please Me is, Abbey Road is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Please do not put Please Please Me, which has a song about them wanting to kiss a 17-year-old, over the top of Abbey Road.
Ooh, yeah, no. Avoid that.
We'll leave that one alone. Graceland by Paul Simon. Do you know this one?
I don't, but Paul Simon is Simon from Simon and Garfunkel.
I thought so.
Yeah. So that would be a beautiful little acoustic chill album, I reckon.
Very nice. A band that I think you've seen more than once, Wilder Minds by Monsters and Sons. It's a band I struggle with. Every time I hear a banjo, I'm just out. I'm just...
Yes, I've seen them once.
Yeah.
Really, really dug it. Matt Corby supported before he got famous. This was in between Australian Idol and Brother. So Matt Corby, someone who went to Innerburgh with Will and I, and
Josh,
was in the year above me, and I used to sing with him a little bit, just name dropping him. But yeah, I believe after Australian Idol, Matt Corby didn't want to be famous, so he shaved his head, grew a beard, moved to England, and was playing little like pubs and stuff. And I think Marcus Mumford or someone from Mumford & Sons saw him and then asked him to tour with them in Australia.
Amazing.
And then that was that tour, and then he became like a huge
renewed
artist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so yeah, I love Mumford & Sons, especially their first two albums. I sort of trailed off after that because they kind of started becoming like samey.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind jumping back in to some of their latest stuff to see whether they have developed much more. Because there were some songs where they seem to start kind of branching out a little bit more and experimenting outside of the Mumford & Sons sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do really appreciate Mumford & Sons for sort of bringing a modern version of folk to the world. It's cool.
That's a good point. I just every time it's like 2020 and a kids film uses one of their songs as a trailer track, I'm like, come on guys, there are other songs out there. Hey, kick that Ed Sheeran guy out of here as well. He's great too, but there's only so many decades you can use his music in your song about a talking snowman. You can't keep relying on Ed. Last one is a really interesting one, Life on Planet Groove by Maceo Parker. Now, I don't know if you know this. I vaguely knew this, but he was telling me it tonight, that Maceo Parker is the saxophonist, the jazz saxophonist. There's probably an easier way to say that, for James Brown.
Saxophonist.
Yeah, that's it. That's the easier way.
Yes.
For James Brown.
Yeah, right.
So this is his solo album.
Yeah, it says best known for his work with James Brown in the 60s. But yeah, cool. So yeah, it looks like he's a saxophonist. And the first video that comes up is a dude playing a trombone, which is not a saxophone.
That's very true.
Which is interesting. But yeah, cool. That makes a lot of sense, especially with his family. They're a big jazz fan.
Well, one of them is definitely a jazz fan.
Very good. Very good. The eldest is called Jazz. Love it. Yes. And fun fact, another one. Let me see if I wrote this down. I did not, because it's part of my life and I should know this.
Yes.
This guy and the other Jazz, not the musical concept, but the person we were just mentioning, their mother was my piano teacher. There you go. That's also probably another reason why I have some sort of connection to you.
Yeah, there's a tight-knit family. It's very strange.
Life is wild. Everything is wild. Cool. Great lists of songs, everybody.
Very, very good.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, this was cool. This was a lot of fun listening to everyone's stuff. A huge variation on what I would normally listen to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've discovered a lot of cool new music.
Coldplay.
Doing this. So yeah, bit of Coldplay. So, like new, like pretty unknown underground kind of band, Coldplay.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, throughout this whole thing, the playlists will be in the episode description below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, go to YouTube, check it out.
Yes.
Everyone's playlists will be on there, except for Hot Leg.
Yep, no Hot Leg.
You're gonna have to find that on YouTube yourself. Maybe we can just link that as well.
Yeah, you might get the new pornographers, but you can't get a Hot Leg.
You cannot.
No, can't find a Hot Leg anywhere.
Good stuff. Awesome. What are we doing next week?
It's good question.
Was it movies?
I think it's movies. I was looking at it. I was like, we could go TV series.
Could.
I think was the other one, but I feel like that's very difficult because it's like seasons or series. It's a very complicated question. We don't read enough books. Like the people that would reply would have better answers than us, and that's not how this is supposed to work. So I think movies. Movies is our big finale.
Yeah, I think that'll finish off our 4-week Desert Island series, even though it's gone for 5 because we didn't do one last week.
It's fine.
But yeah, there you go. Movies, let us know either in the description of this or on Facebook, or if you're part of our Discord post on there.
Yes.
If you're not part of the Discord but would like to be, jump onto patreon.com/each to their own. Just whatever money you have, if you like, we'll get you into that, and that'll get you into our awesome Discord with all of our awesome people who love to chat about music and comics and movies and
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing at the moment. That's the only thing that's happening in there other than these desert island choices.
Yeah. It's all the crossing.
Yes. So hit us up. We'd love to hear from you and read it out and discuss it on here.
I feel like that one's going to be very, very long.
Yes. And no doubt I've watched virtually none of them.
That's very true.
Because, yes, I just don't. But just before we end, I'm just going to say I've watched so many varied movies this week.
You did.
So strange. So I watched Coco because you mentioned it, and a lot of the QA guys at my work love it. I watched The Breakfast Club. I don't know why, but it was pretty good. I watched Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler film where he's definitely not playing an Adam Sandler character. That was an intense movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah. It's an experience.
It's just intense. I will never watch it again. It was just people screaming at each other and talking over each other for 2.5 hours. But man, it was a thing. And then for some reason, I watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
That's such a peculiar choice.
I do not know why. It was on Disney Plus. Weird movie. Interesting.
Yeah. Pretty good for its day, from what I remember.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sort of like special effects and stuff. Pretty good. Like the fact, like the water.
Yes.
All of the water stuff was amazing. There was one bit though where they show some sort of ship, and I'm pretty sure you could see the waves washing up onto a beach.
Yeah.
So then you could tell that the ship was actually this tiny model.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a weird shot, but then it quickly cut away just as you started almost seeing sand.
Yeah, amazing.
It just like really quickly cut away to another shot where it was somewhere else. Weird, but yeah, I've been doing that. Have you been consuming anything in particular this week, Will?
Lots of food.
Good.
So much pain. So I'm watching the Mando with mum and dad. It just got to a point where like, what should we watch? And we'd already started 7 other series, so we went, what's one more? So we went with Mando, and they really loved it, and I'm very excited to watch it with them because I think we had this discussion when we were talking about Mando ages ago. I was always very intrigued to know how it would be with someone that's not invested in the world. Like, people like yourself, you know, I've forced you to be so it's not quite the same. And, you know, someone like Zara as well watches the films, so there's enough there. It feels like it's also an age thing. Like, I feel I was intrigued to know where they would sit with it, because obviously Mum hasn't seen them repeatedly. Dad has, but they really, really enjoyed it, and they understood it. They haven't asked where it's set yet. I feel like that's going to be the bit where they're like, what does that mean? How does this work? For now, I'm happy with them thinking it's Baby Yoda. That's fine. That's passable.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse them anymore, but
fair enough.
Yeah, that's been good. And we watched. We didn't watch. We haven't watched any movies in a while. Coco's probably the last movie. No,
fair.
We watched something. Hang on. I've got my letterboxed. I have to see what it is.
What have you done?
And
have you been playing anything?
No. The movie we watched Togo, which is the Willem Dafoe Disney Plus film.
So you watched Coco and Togo.
Correct.
Nice. Cool. How was Togo?
Very, very good. It's very, very good. It's surprisingly very, very good.
Cool.
Willem Dafoe, I don't like seeing his face at all.
It's not nice.
It's not. But
it's very intense.
But the character he plays in this film, I've never had it before. By the end of the film, I liked his face. Like,
interesting.
The emotion and the way his character grows throughout the film. I enjoyed looking at Willem Dafoe's face by the end of the movie, which is very rare. Mainly because he also plays a bad guy almost always. So it's hard to like seeing his face. But yeah, very, very good. Obviously, from what I could tell, minimal CG in the dog respect. There is a bit where they run across an ice lake that's imploding, so it's probably not entirely real, but even that looks really good. But the fact the dogs are all very practical, real dogs, comparatively to Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford, it's like, I was fine with that movie till I watched this, and now I'm like, yeah, dogs are better here.
Yep, fair.
Yeah, it's a lovely film. If you've got Disney Plus, well worth a watch. I was hesitant because I was like, it's a launch movie. It's probably a bit average. But yeah, it's very clearly a movie with money and with Willem Dafoe. It's very good.
Cool. Fair enough. I might have to check that out because I remember it, like, they were really pushing that on everyone when Disney Plus came out.
Yeah. That's all that was on the home screen.
Yeah, as a launch film. But yeah, cool. I might have to check that out soon.
Yeah, I think it's an hour 40. It's a nice, tasty size.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm still playing Control. I've barely played it lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, just working a lot. And I did actually restart The Last of Us Part 1.
Interesting. I mean, considering the next game is indefinitely delayed.
Yeah. So now I definitely have time.
You do. You're fine.
To get through it. So yeah, I'm going to kind of jump in and out of that as I play Control as well. Mm-hmm. And Animal Crossing, I don't know why I'm still playing that, but kind of enjoy it. And I'm not even close to anything yet.
Yeah, being good.
Yeah, like I can't even terraform or like build roads or anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just so far behind.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Yep. Just in everything in life.
Yeah.
Speaking of behind, this is the behind of the podcast. It's the butt. It's the end. We're here.
It's very good. It's very good. The end. I see what you're doing there.
Nailed it.
Yeah. That's all we've got time for today. Remember, you can leave a like on this video if you want and subscribe. And if you're watching this / listening to this, it's just listening on Spotify. You can also, I think, follow the podcast, right? You can do that on Spotify.
Yep, you can do that up the top.
You can do that. So do that. And if you want to click on the Patreon link, it won't work. So you'll have to find it yourself on one of our other streaming channels. But just so you know, it's there to click if you're on Spotify. It just won't work.
It is indeed. Yes.
Before we go, I'm going to send you this image and I want you to react to it. And then we'll do the out. There you go. There's the image. Good. I have been Will.
I have been Josh.
See you in the next one.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.